Hey guys, welcome back to Tales from the Fog. Today we are going to be talking about a very unique and mysterious case, the Pollock Twins. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. It was a quiet Sunday morning in the small town of Hexham, Northumberland, May 5th, 1957. John and Florence Pollock had just left their two young daughters, 11-year-old Joanna and 6-year-old Jacqueline, to walk to church. It was a short distance. Safe. Familiar. But on that morning, everything changed. As the girls crossed the road, a car sped around the corner. It was driven by a local woman under the influence of sedatives. She had taken her children from their home in a moment of panic, and in her confusion, she hit the two girls with full force. Both Joanna and Jacqueline were killed instantly. Just like that, the Pollocks' world shattered. Florence sank into a deep, consuming grief. John, while also devastated, clung to a strange private belief, something he kept mostly to himself. He believed his daughters would come back. You see, John Pollock wasn't a superstitious man in the usual sense, but he had always believed in reincarnation, and shortly after the accident, he became convinced, absolutely convinced, that his daughters' souls would return to them. Florence disagreed. She was devoutly Catholic and dismissed his belief as delusional, a desperate man's way of coping with unbearable pain. But then, something strange happened. A year later, Florence became pregnant. To their surprise, it was not one child, but twins. Identical girls. Born on October 4th, 1958, the twins were named Jillian and Jennifer. The doctors noted something unusual right away. Jennifer, the younger of the two, had a distinctive birthmark on her forehead, and another across her waist. Marks that exactly matched ones Jacqueline had. At first, the parents tried not to think too much of it. Coincidence, maybe. Nothing more. But the coincidences didn't stop. Florence once caught them reenacting a scene, one where one girl lay on the ground, eyes closed, while the other leaned over her crying, repeating the words, "The blood's coming out of your eyes." She had never told them how the girls had died. No one had. As they grew older, things got even stranger. The twins feared cars intensely. When a vehicle passed too close, Jennifer would grab Jillian and cry out, "The car, it's coming for us!" Or sometimes, "It's the car that hit us." They were toddlers, and yet they spoke of coming back and dying before. They would tell their mother, "We remember the accident. We remember being in the hospital." But they had never been in a hospital. Not in this life. John Pollock, quietly vindicated, believed his daughters had returned just as he had predicted. Florence wasn't so sure. She loved her children deeply. But a part of her wondered, who exactly was she raising?
As news of the Pollock twins' story spread, the case attracted the attention of Dr. Ian Stevenson, a respected psychiatrist and one of the few scientists who seriously studied reincarnation in children. He interviewed the Pollocks over many years. He examined their memories, the birthmarks, their behavior, and what he found was hard to dismiss. Dr. Stevenson documented over 3,000 cases of children claiming to remember past lives. But even among all of those, he considered the Pollock twins one of the strongest and most compelling examples. He pointed to the birthmarks, the verifiable memories, the trauma reenactments, and the fact that the twins' knowledge matched only the deceased sisters, not any family friend, storybook, or media influence. Skeptics, of course, pushed back. They argued that John Pollock's belief in reincarnation might have influenced the twins unintentionally, that he, perhaps, projected the personalities of Joanna and Jacqueline onto the younger girls, that over time the twins may have absorbed these traits and stories as their own. Others suggested false memory, or even subconscious conditioning. But there were cracks in the skeptical view. Florence, their mother, did not believe in reincarnation. In fact, she actively tried to suppress it. She discouraged the girls from talking about their past lives and insisted she never spoke to them about Joanna or Jacqueline when they were young. Even stranger, when the twins turned 5 years old, the strange memories began to fade. Their talk of other lives stopped. Their memories, those bizarre, vivid fragments, disappeared. By the time they were adults, they remembered nothing. almost like that chapter had closed. Like the souls, if they were there at all, had moved on. As Jillian and Jennifer Pollock grew older, the memories of Joanna and Jacqueline faded completely. They became ordinary girls, then women. They moved on, lived lives untouched, on the surface, by the tragedy that had come before them. But in 1981, when Jillian was in her 20s, something strange happened. She began having vivid, specific visions of places she had never been. She could describe, in perfect detail, a park in Hexham she'd never visited, a school she'd never attended, a neighborhood she didn't grow up in. All places tied to Joanna, the older sister who had died before Jillian was born. She saw it from above, she said, like watching someone else's life, but feeling it in her own bones. The question lingered. Had the soul returned? Had the memories been buried, only to resurface when the mind was ready? Or was it something else entirely? Despite their ordinary lives, the Pollock Twins story continues to haunt psychologists, spiritual researchers, and skeptics alike. To some, it's the strongest evidence for reincarnation in modern times. To others, it's an elaborate, subconscious tapestry, woven from grief, trauma, and a desperate father's belief in something more. But one truth remains. These children, born after a tragedy, knew things they shouldn't have known. They lived lives that didn't fully belong to them. And for a brief, flickering window, they may have carried the souls of two others. Whether you believe it or not, this story reminds us of something chilling. Death may not be the end, and memory might not always belong to us alone. Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fog. If this story left a shadow in your thoughts, leave a comment and let us know. Do you believe in reincarnation? Until next time, stay curious and stay close to the light.